Sahibus Samahah, Dato Dr. Muhammad Asri bin Zainal Abidin, currently the Mufti of the state of Perlis. He's one of the highly qualified, credentialed and credible Islamic scholar and thinker in Malaysia. Sahibus Samahah, Dato Dr. Muhammad Asri bin Zainal Abidin, to share with us his ideas and perspective on shared prosperity. فيتفضل مشكورا.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وبعد. Mr. Chairman, distinguished participants and ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me to this great event. And it is actually an honor for me to be one of the speakers in this historical and significant event for Muslim world. Before I start, I would like to quote a statement from a prominent scholar, preacher, da'i, who died 20 years ago in his famous book, Maza خسر العالم بانحطاط المسلمين, Maulana Abul Hasan Ali al-Nadwi. And this book was written, I think, more than 17 years ago. He said, it is the duty of Arab world to be an independent Muslim world in trade, wealth, industry, and education. Its people should wear no garments other than what has been grown on their own land and worn by their own hand. Certainly the Arab will not be able to wage war with the West should condition require this, as long as it still needs the West for wealth, passion, and goods. There is no pen that we use to sign treaties with the West other than those made in the West. There is no weapons used to fight the West other than those made by the West. It is an utter disgrace when Arabs do not take advantage of their own great resources and strength. It is an utter disgrace when their life force flows out of them and into other people. This is a very interesting word by Maulana Abul Hasan Ali al-Nadwi. Ladies and gentlemen, when we call Muslims to help one another in economy matters, some quarters disagree out of fear that we be seen as promoting racism. Actually, we never ask anyone to boycott the goods or the services of non-Muslim. What we are doing actually merely advise the Muslim to consider the economic condition of the Ummah when spending for good and services. We Muslims, despite having a fairly strong purchasing power, the Muslim society relatively backward in terms of production and market share of goods and services. In countries like Malaysia, I believe in Indonesia and some country, Muslim country, where Muslim and non-Muslim live together, the Muslim in this country remain generally weak in business sector. Muslim traders are facing fierce competition in economy where it's difficult for them to market Muslim goods and services. At a national level, Muslim countries are still dependent on the West. This is one of the factors that make the Muslim world to be puppets controlled by the West. Even though Muslim countries are rich in natural resources, especially oil and gas, we have consistently failed to establish a strong trade bloc that unites the Muslim world. Ladies and gentlemen, so this is sad reality of our ummah. So don't ask why there are so many Muslim country or Arab country who always bow to the West. Our honor has been tarnished, and we become slave of economic imperialism, even though some of us appear to be rich. And I would like to quote what Dr. Qaradawi said in his book, Ayn al-Khalal. He said that we are proud to own imported luxury cars, but we do not even know how to manufacture a bicycle. Ladies and gentlemen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Anfal, verse 60, وَعِدُّوا لَهُمْ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُم مِّن قُوَّةٍ وَمِن رِبَاطِ الْخَيْلِ تُرْهِبُونَ بِهِ عَدُوَّ اللَّهِ وَعَدُوَّكُمْ. And prepare against them whatever you are able of power. وَمِن رِبَاطِ الْخَيْلِ, and of steeds of war, تُرْهِبُونَ بِهِ عَدُوَّ اللَّهِ وَعَدُوَّكُمْ, by which you may terrify the enemy of Allah and your enemy. We know in this verse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us as Muslim to develop our strength in order to defend ourselves. And we know nowadays, besides military weapon, economy power is also new weapon in our modern era. Economic strength can produce the same result like military weapon, like conventional weapon, on striking fear of one's enemy. This is the turhibuna bihi aduwallah wa aduwakum is maqsad, purpose, objective, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, wa'iddu lahum mastata'tum min quwwah. Ladies and gentlemen, so given the miserable situation that we are now, the Ummah at all levels, individually, nationally, internationally, is responsible to foster Islamic brotherhood, Islamic solidarity, providing goods and service of high level, high quality is an obligation, so that we might achieve economic freedom and no more depends on others. So that is our duty to buy Muslim products and to patronage shops and markets owned by Muslim. So this is our duty to fulfill this obligation. We are obliged. And at the international level, trade among Muslim nations is a duty of all Muslims. At the international level, trade among Muslim nations is a duty of all Muslims. Ladies and gentlemen, in hadith narrated by Al-Bukhari wa Muslim, and we got scholars of hadith, I think I should bow my head in respect to many our scholars here, Sheikh Al-Alama Muhammad Al-Hassan Dadu and Sheikh Qaradawi Alama. Back to the hadith that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Innal ash'ariyin idha armaru fil ghazw aw qalla ta'amu 'iyalihim bil Madinah jama'u ma kana 'indahum fi thawbin wahid thumma iqtasamu bainahum bis-sawiyyah fi ina'in wahid fahum minni wa ana minhum." When the Ash'ariyin run short of food in the jihad, or when they are at home in Medina, they collect all the provision that they have in a sheet and they divide it equally among themselves. Fahum minni wa ana minhum, they are of me and I am of them. This hadith, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam praised the spirit of helpfulness, existent and mature concern among Ash'ari. there are tribes. If we take this spirit of al-ukhuwah Islamiyah, we can realize the awareness about the importance of this spirit and mutual assistance. And I can say that in our condition, there is some advantage that we have. One of them, first is high purchasing power that we have as a Muslim ummah. We know that now we Muslim 1.7 billion. This large Muslim population possess, of course, a high purchasing power. And if this buying power can be exploited positively, a strong economic power will surely emerge in Muslim society. Second, the issue of halal and haram. Of course, that concern all of us as a Muslim. But I say that why? This is because we Muslims fail to produce our own food. If we want to take this opportunity to address food security of Muslims, then we must urge them to become producers and not merely consumers. Third, existing tensions. We know tension between West and a Muslim world actually can create an ummah that is strong and independent. We should encourage tourist Muslim to go to Muslim country. We should encourage Muslim to buy Muslim products. And fourth, fair and just share of wealth. There is a global campaign that calls for responsible and sustainable consumption and production. This is a golden opportunity for Muslims to promote ethical consumption and production as guided by the Wahyu revelation that uphold justice in wealth distribution. Thank you.
Thank you, Sahibul Samaha, for that a very courageous call for the Muslim to consider buying Muslim product first. I would like to, as a footnote, to quote data from OIC intra-trades among Muslim countries. The data that we have, perhaps last few years ago, not the recent one, is less than 3 or 4 or 5%, which is very, very low. For me, it's not we don't want to buy from each other, but because we have not become producers and manufacturers as yet. We don't produce the end product as yet. We produce the raw material, but the end product will go somewhere into the Europe and come back to Muslim countries. As rightly alluded by our Honorable Prime Minister yesterday, that we are not yet manufacturers and producers to encourage the scheme of buying Muslim product first. So this is something, a challenge to take, to take us forward to produce more manufacturers and producers. Sorry everyone, the time is not.
الوقت ليس في مصلحتنا، فهناك جلسة قادمة وهناك صلاة الجمعة بعد فترة. هذا أطلب من
Question or all the question if you like, but only 2 minutes to respond to each or other question.
Thank you. Regarding a question from some of our participants about wakaf and things, what's supposed to discuss or not to discuss in this forum, I don't think I'm in the right position, in the position to answer this. But for me, the organizer, his initiative is a very significant and important event, and can, as we can see, it's not easy to have this kind of event. There's many challenges we are facing, or the organizer facing, to have this kind of great event. So I think it's not, for me, it's not a right place to have a aggressive comment. Maybe if we have a proposal for any idea, maybe you can give directly to the organizer. Thank you very much.